In today's video, I'm talking to Sean about how he was a teacher who taught abroad and in the UK as well, and is now a tutor who runs his own business as well as working for other agencies and an online school. If you're new to this channel, my name's Jenna. I'm a qualified primary school teacher now, full-time primary tutor. I chat to others about their experiences in education. If you like today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a supportive comment down below. Thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thanks,
It's
Jenna.
lovely. It's really, really pleased that you got in touch, and you've already told me lots about what you've kind of been up to in your journey, and it sounds fascinating, so that's why I wanted to chat to you more. So, first question, what was your own experience of education like as a child?
Okay. Well, I come from a teaching family.
Oh,
So
lovely.
my mum's was a primary school teacher. So teaching's always been a big part of my life. But I would say in general, like particularly primary school, it was all about just positive, nurturing, fun. That's what I found primary to be like for me personally. Um, in contrast, sort of at home, I could see the other side of it with my mum being very stressed.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of saw like the stressful side of teaching as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting to see both sides of it, because at school I just felt happy, no problem, just coasted along really, enjoyed it. But then I remember at home I used to think that looks a stressful job, that looks tough, and I didn't think my mum. I don't know. I felt like she didn't have the best balance with it. So
Yeah.
it always kind of really put me off, to be honest. So it's a wonder, it's a surprise that I ended up doing it, I think.
That's
But
interesting, yeah.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right. Because a lot of people often follow their parents,
yeah,
even though their parents often warn them and say, don't go into teaching or go
yeah.
into teaching. And so you don't think you're going to do it, but then you do. So moving on to
Yeah.
my next question then, do you think what eventually then made you want to become a teacher or look at becoming a teacher?
Yeah, so I think I fought against it for a long time because
Yeah,
I felt like it was like the thing that was expected of me in a way. Not that my mum put me under any pressure at all.
yeah,
She didn't at all. But I think a lot of my family members and extended family were like, "Oh, you'll probably be a good teacher. You'll be a good teacher." And so it was kind of like I kind of wanted to come out of that shadow in a way, and do my own thing. But I don't know. After a while, I just felt no. I think it's suited to me. I just felt like it it matched my sort of skills and my interpersonal sort of the way I was and the way I always had a good affinity with kids really. So being a big kid always helps. So yeah. So yeah, I just after a while it became quite clear. I think that it was the way I should go.
That's good because in
Yeah,
primary schools there isn't many male teachers, or there certainly wasn't when I was teaching. There was a
yeah,
lot of female teachers, especially in primary schools, more male teachers in secondary.
yeah,
But the boys in particular really, really liked it when there was a male teacher. And it helped a lot of boys, I found personally.
yeah.
So moving on then, so you taught abroad initially. Did you need any qualifications for that? How did you go about that?
Uh,
How did it come up basically teaching abroad?
Yeah. Well, luckily I didn't know really in terms of qualifications, apart from a degree, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd qualified as in my degree where I went to university. Um, and no, I thought I might need like a TEFL or something like that, but I didn't. It was just
All right.
you just needed to be degree qualified, and that was it really. And the ball got rolling. I I didn't originally go. My friend was over there, and I just kept seeing really fun pictures of him abroad, and having the time of his life. And I was just kind of a bit of a loose end after uni, and I
And
just
what
thought,
do you do for your degree, if you don't mind me asking?
yeah, I did, I did what I thought would be the. I don't want to be too honest here. I think I went to uni for the wrong reasons in a way. I just went for the party,
A
really.
good time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the education was a side. The rest of it was like, I just want to have fun.
A
I just
lot of
want to,
people did that though. They wanted to
yeah,
go to uni to,
yeah,
the freedom, get away from their parents,
yeah,
get away from
exactly, yeah,
family. So
yeah.
I think a
So
lot
I,
of people could say that.
yeah, so I did kind of a diluted course. It was like psychology and sociology with media and cultural
Oh
studies.
wow,
So it's kind of like this.
interesting.
Yeah, it was like a
All
lot of
right.
different things diluted in a way. I don't know, but it was good. It was all right. But yeah, it wasn't the most. It sounds quite stressful when I say it like that, but
Yeah,
it was quite chilled and easygoing, really. The
that's
course.
good. All
Yeah.
right. So, you went to obviously go and teach abroad. Where did you teach and what year groups did you teach?
Yeah. So I went to South Korea.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, as I said, my friend came up with the idea first, and he was gone, and he was out there with another friend of mine.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it was South Korea, and I originally taught. I taught in a few different places in Korea, but originally I was teaching, like, I would say, like, from the ages of about 8. But then after that, I moved into the. I've spent most of my time in Korea teaching the younger ages.
Mm.
So yeah, sort of kindergarten, you'd say.
Oh
So,
wow. And how did you find that working with younger children? Did you find it stressful or did you find it like you were okay with it?
it was a good experience. It suited my my way of working a bit more, as in I was better at working during the daytime and not like late on at night and things like that,
Mm.
because it's just they've got it in a different kind of system out there, like the hours and things you work. So I preferred working during the day, whereas the older kids were more, you could go on till 10:30 at night.
Oh wow. And
Yeah,
that was the culture, they'd work really, really late, the older
yeah,
children.
yeah. You'd see kids in Korea, and you still will, catching buses and taxis and things at 9:30, 10:30 at night, just going all around the city to different. They call them hagwons. So
Oh,
they're called hagwons, and that's their academies, like their extra school. So that's what we were. Um,
oh,
so yeah, so it's crazy. It's a different world out there, but yeah, it was really good. It was I like working with the younger kids out there. They were good fun. Yeah, they were challenging, but it was just a lot of repetition, a lot of fun, a lot of games, a lot of songs and dancing, and that's not really me, to be honest. But you embrace it.
and the curriculum, was it obviously we haven't got to the part with you teaching in the UK, but
Yeah.
when you look back now at the curriculum, was it a better curriculum there?
Um,
No?
I, I don't know about that. It was it was a Montessori curriculum that I was sort of going
Oh,
by.
okay.
Yeah. So it was sort of learning through play, um, dancing songs and dance
Oh,
and stuff
okay.
like that. Um, but I don't know how closely it was to Montessori, because I don't know much about
Right.
everything about that. But it was good. It was for the younger ages it was, but then I think as it got into the older ages, it was very like rigorous and quite drilled, and kind of the love of learning kind of for a lot of the teenagers had sort of dwindled by a certain point.
Mm.
Yeah,
Is
because
it quite stressful, like really high expectations for the children as they got
oh
older?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, yeah. I think speaking English in Korea is absolutely massive.
Mm.
So the kids are under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure to be fluent English speakers. Um, so yeah, I think they are quite pressurized out there. Too much, in my opinion. But
Mm.
yeah.
And is that the only place you went to when you were traveling, or did you teach in other countries?
No, I only taught in Korea, and I did that for 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, and so what made you then decide to come back?
I think I just felt like I'd come to the end of it. It was kind of an extension of my of university in a way, because it was very we worked pretty hard, but we also had a really good time. A lot of expat students, and we'd have a good, it'd be a good laugh. It was really, really good fun, really good and social, really social. But I felt like I think I felt it was time for the real world,
Oh.
which sounds a bit depressing and sad, but it was probably just like I think I was ready to sort of progress a bit because you can just sort of stick in one place and you're ready to sort of, you know what I mean? Just I don't know. I can't describe it. Just I felt like I wasn't going to go any further with it.
I think you do get to that point in certain points in your life where you're like, right, I'm ready to move on now. I need like a
Yeah,
new challenge.
yeah. I think it was.
So yeah. So then how did you then become a UK teacher? Like what route did you take?
Yeah, so I came back to England, um, and I actually studied for a master's
Oh
before
wow.
going, before going to my PGCE, like
Oh
literally
my goodness.
the year before. Yeah, yeah.
And what was that in like education?
No,
Oh,
no, no, no. I'm a bit of a what's the word? I'm a bit of a dreamer, I would say, and I go with like just go on whims sometimes. So I went with like script writing and like writing for
oh
publication.
wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. So I did a master's in that for 1 year, um, and I enjoyed it. But again, I just felt like, oh no, this isn't going to get me a job, um, not immediately anyway. So I just felt no, that it was good. It was a great experience that I did that in Leeds, but then I just went right. I need to get a job. I need to get a proper job. So I was like PGCE. I went straight into the PGCE.
Now, how did you find the PGC? Because some people I spoke to loved it, really, really good. But then some people didn't think it prepared them enough for teaching. But
Yeah.
what was your personal experience?
Uh, it was hard. it
Oh,
was
that's
it was
interesting.
tough. It was really tough. At first I found it. I don't know. I think I came into it a bit blasé, I would say, and I was like, I'll be fine. I'm quite a laid back character, and I just felt, I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to, prepared enough for how hard it would be. So it was difficult, and I struggled my way through it. To be honest with you, I was placed in like nursery and foundation,
Oh,
which
that's a
didn't
hard
really,
one to start in.
yeah, it didn't fit me. It didn't fit, but I think my character is that I will just stick it out and I'll be resilient. And even if it doesn't, even if I wasn't the right fit, I was still going to try and prove it that I could do it. And I had some really good lessons, but I also had some really bad, and it was just I couldn't find that consistency. So it was PGC was tough. I felt like I was scrutinized and picked apart, and put under a microscope to death a little bit. But I got through it, and yeah, it was. I actually I should have gone for the older age PGCE, but my application was a little bit late, and I think only the younger age was open, so I just put myself in the younger age,
Mm.
and so yeah. But then the rest of my career, I worked with older ages. So
That's good. Well, at least you had that experience because
yeah,
for some people they just leave after like the first or second term. So obviously you were determined to make it right, even though
yeah,
you knew it wasn't right for you.
I stuck
Because
at it. Yeah,
yeah,
it did feel like a square peg in a round hole, but
yeah,
I went for it, and I had to resit one of my um, placements, but I got there.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
really, really good because then that obviously, even though you weren't tutoring at that point, that will prepare you for being resilient and, keeping moving forward when
yeah,
things are a little bit tough when you're running your own business.
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
how did you experience? So, what was you went obviously to work with older year groups, but how was that then in comparison?
Well, as soon as I qualified, I was put into like year three straight away. So that was older than I was used to. So I'd always been below that. But I think immediately I felt more at ease with it.
That's good.
Yeah, and to me, after the PGCE, I was just so desperate to just be in a classroom and be left alone. So I was kind of just like, put me in a classroom, just let me get on with it and
Mm.
let me learn on the job a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
didn't I didn't I didn't feel like the finished article in the slightest, and I felt like I had a lot to learn, but I felt like the school that I went to, they just sort of, I felt they took a chance on me in a way. So I felt, but then they kind of just went, yeah, crack on, and left me to it, which was fine for me. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get on. And I
That's
felt
good.
like I just learned as I went then, and I felt more at ease with it.
I bet it felt like a breath of fresh air though after the PGCE, after
Yeah,
all that like intensity,
yeah,
because it can be incredibly overwhelming. And that's what's happening now with teaching. It's getting like that even more and more and more.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's not nice when you don't feel trusted, I suppose. And so
Yeah,
you want to be just like, I'm an adult, I can do this. I'm all
yeah, yeah,
right, I can do this. So
yeah,
that,
absolutely. And I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really have much in the way of support, as in a mentor, when I in my first year.
okay.
So that wasn't great, to be honest with you. But for me, I was fine. I was like, I'm fine. Just leave me alone. Let me teach, and I'll be fine. So I kind of just, you know, I went with it, and I think I did pretty well after a certain amount of time.
That's good.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, you were teaching. How long did you teach in the UK for?
So I started in about well, probably 2014, and then yeah, so I went about 10 years.
Oh, wow, you did a good stint.
Yeah, maybe 9.5, something like that. But yeah, I did a good stint. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So, what made you then start to think about leaving the classroom? What changed for you?
um, well, there's so many reasons, to be honest. I
Mm.
can't. It's really difficult. I've thought about this answer hundreds of times in a way, but loads of different reasons. I felt like in teaching, I was. This is always one that's been in my mind. I felt like I was just surviving in teaching, and I wasn't thriving. Do you know?
Mm.
I was
Yeah.
just kind of just keeping my head above water, but never really thriving. So I just felt like I was kind of like in that place where, and then obviously when I had children, I just felt like my time just was going, and I was sacrificing time that I wasn't as willing to sacrifice anymore. You know?
That's interesting because I always wondered. I don't have children, but when I was at school and like I used to wonder how like the parents did it
Yeah,
because the job is so intense, like
yeah,
and then to have to obviously take care of your children as well.
yeah,
Because in my experience, teacher parents either stayed and were exhausted
yeah.
or left because it just
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't right.
before kids, like, I was okay to use my time up for teaching.
Mm,
I would dedicate my life to it, and my weekends and everything was all focused on what I did in the classroom and to make it as good as it possibly could be. But once my kids got involved, I was like, I was missing out on a lot, and I couldn't. I was finding it hard to get that balance, and that was the main thing.
I
Yeah,
think you start to question because there's so much paperwork involved,
yeah,
and like you think, is this paperwork worth more than my family?
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's not really at the end of the day.
And
So,
the yeah
yeah,
the um yeah, sorry, and now I was thinking I had something else, but
don't
yeah,
worry, if you remember it, we'll come back to it. It's
sorry, yeah,
fine, no
but
worries.
no, yeah, it was just one of those things where you just feel like, I don't know, yeah, I just felt like I was ready to. I felt like I'd gained enough confidence in my teaching ability that I was ready to push out on my own a bit, and I'd been, I don't know, you can get talk, the way teaching is, you get put into a box and like, this is the way we do things and things like
Mm,
that. Whereas I was like, well, I want to do it this way. So I was kind of butting heads sometimes, and and I just felt I had a way of doing things, and I wanted to do it my way more sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard because so many academies coming in now, and like I
Yeah,
worked in a lot of academies, and there'd be like 10 to 11 schools per academy,
yeah,
and they wanted, despite what the school was like and what the children were like,
yeah,
they wanted every school the same and every type of piece of paperwork the same, and it just doesn't work like that. Like when you're dealing with human beings,
yeah, yeah,
really, really, really difficult. So then, you started to think, I don't want this anymore. When did
yeah.
you first hear about tutoring?
Right. I'm just having a quick look at my notes.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's there. Right. Um, yeah. So it was. I think. Yeah. So. Well, one of my friends, one of my work colleagues, put me on to um, the Pit Pony video.
Oh, yes.
Do you
On
know
life
it?
after teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
lots of people watch that.
as soon as I watched that, I was like, wow, it just spoke to me. It resonated so much, and I was just like, for a lot of people, I think it just a light bulb just went off, and I thought there's a different world out there that I hadn't known about and didn't know anything about, and it just made a lot of sense to me, and I thought, yeah, there's a different path that I could maybe go with. So it was exciting. As soon as I watched the video, I was like, right, that ticks every box that I was thinking, that there's a way out.
That's good. And then when did you finally, was there a period of time between watching that video and leaving? Or was it pretty soon after that you left? Or did you start tutoring while you were teaching? Like, how did you
Um,
finally make that step?
no, I was on. So my last school was only a 6 month contract.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
yeah, so
handy then.
my final school that I worked in was 6 months. Um, so yeah, I was just doing that 6 month contract, and I knew at the end of that it was. So I was coming to the end of that, and I was thinking, I watched the Pit Pony, so it was always in the back of my mind, like this is an option. And after lots of debating and talking with my partner about what I could do, what might be an option, I just thought, this is as good a time as any. 6 months is done. I don't I don't really feel like I want to resign, or I want to, go full time with this job. I think it's time to go. And that was it, really. It was a happy sort of coincidence in terms of timing.
That's really good then. So when would you say you officially started your tutoring business then? When was that, like 6 months up?
It was, yeah, so I finished teaching in the summer term, so July 2023.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
And then I went straight
Mhm.
into tutoring September 23.
Wow. So what did your business look like well, yeah, 23 last year at the
Yeah.
start?
Um it was it was just panic stations. To be honest, it was stressful. I got in touch with that. I've got so many people that I'd like to shout out almost.
Yeah, go on, go
Like,
for it.
you know, the lady from the Pit Pony video, Sue Bowie.
Oh, I don't know
Sue?
that one actually. I know isn't I thought Sharon was in the
Sharon Corley. Yeah, I got in touch with Sharon actually. Spoke to her a little bit to help me out, and then I got in touch with Sue, who was another lady from the video, and
Yeah.
she's been absolutely amazing for me.
Oh,
She's
wow.
she's she's been like a mentor, and she just gave me this amazing sort of plan just to get going. So yeah, my business was very small, but I just decided, right, I'm going to sign myself up to as many different places as I can,
Mm.
agencies, keep my toe in with supply work,
Mm.
and then yeah, it was that balancing of like, right, supply, and off I went.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So it's obviously progressed.
Yeah.
So, what does it look like now?
Yeah, it's kind of it's growing slowly and steadily. I don't feel like I need to really push it at the moment. It's just kind of like, because I work with different places, as you'll know, I work
Mm.
with different sort of agencies at the moment. So my business is kind of, it's my, what you call, I guess you call, joy project.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of trying to build it slowly and gradually, and whatever, whichever clients come to me, that's fantastic. But I'm not in a huge rush. I'm just trying to build it slowly,
Mm.
piece by piece. And yeah, it's coming along well now. I've got a good amount of students of my own. Um, I've done a couple of group lessons.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm still quite early in everything, but yeah, it's coming along quite well, slowly and steadily, I'd say.
That's good because I find when you first look at like tutoring and you ask, and everyone's like, oh, just set up your Facebook page and you'll be full within a couple of weeks. And that was not my experience at all. None
No,
at
no, it
all.
wasn't mine. No.
So, and I think it's better to be slowly, slowly because there will be mistakes that you make along
Yeah.
the way, even when you're even more established, because
Mm.
you're dealing with people at the end of the day and you're
Yeah.
dealing with your own business and how you want it to run. And like it's your mini school, even though it's not a school, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, so it's better like that. I think it's better what you're doing because as well, you have to have different options because when you're self-employed, if you just have one thing on the go and that
Yeah.
one thing suddenly stops,
All the eggs in one basket.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just gone then. Like
Yeah.
your income has gone. So which we'll go on to now, you have to have different options, talk to different people and get different things on the go
Yeah.
because you just need that backup all the time, which when you start is really, really scary.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that
but
was my main thing. I wanted to be in as many different places as I could be. So if
mm,
one went down, I still had backups. So I had a lot of safety nets in place, kind of thing.
right.
You know.
So moving on from that then,
Yeah.
you obviously work with different agencies and you work for an online school, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Lovely. So, in your opinion, obviously you've kind of mentioned positives to that anyway, because you've got eggs in different baskets, that kind of thing. Can you think of any other positives to doing that or, to doing how you're setting yourself up?
Um, the positives, as in working for lots of different places.
Yes, so having
Yeah.
lots of different experiences
Yeah.
under the under the umbrella of tutoring.
Yeah. Well, the positives are that I'm really busy, I would say. I'm really, really busy. Right. Like there's no shortage of work whatsoever. Um, so I have a lot, I have a busy and full schedule.
That's good.
Um, but it's not all me. So I
Yeah.
don't have to feel like the pressure's completely on me and my business.
Mm,
So I'm happy. So in a way, I'm like, my business can grow slowly and steadily,
mm,
and the rest of it takes care of itself in a way.
mm.
But yeah, I think the big positive is, yeah, like you say, I'm getting lots of different experiences and I'm building my confidence and my, what would you call it? I don't know, your portfolio, I guess, of what
Yeah,
you,
like your brand of who
yeah,
you are.
yeah, because I didn't want to go into my business and be um, straight in with, this is me, uh, you know, and I feel like with working with lots of different places, I'm building up a lot of confidence to then say, right, this is my business and I know what I'm doing now, rather than just being, going straight into it without that grounding that I'm getting from other places.
I think also your business changes. I find mine has changed so much since I first started. And I think it just continues to change anyway, because what you like and what you don't like will change monthly, yearly, whatever it may be. And that's the great thing about it. But how do you compare working for an online school compared to a in-person school? What's
Mainstream,
that been like?
complete night and day different.
Oh, really? In what way?
Um, well, the school I work for is the Learning Circle.
I'd never heard of that one
Yeah,
before.
and it's a very the school is all centered around mindfulness and
Oh,
I think
wow.
yoga's quite a big part of the school and things like that. They've got an in-person place as well, I believe, in Hebden Bridge,
Right.
but they also have the online school, which is where I am. So yeah, a lot of it is, I start off every, my lessons with we always start with mindful movement. So it's like just a bit of yoga sort of kind of style
Mhm.
stuff. But yeah, it's basically teaching without all the other stuff. It's very, keep strip back, enjoy it, teach online, keep, as engaging as possible. But we don't need to worry about a lot of the other negatives from mainstream.
That's really good. That's really, really good because,
Place to work, and they're lovely people, and you've got that staff community as well. So that's quite nice to have that, and still be part of a team, because,
mm,
as you'll know, tutoring can be
mm,
a bit isolated. So it's
mm.
quite nice to be part of that staff as well.
And do you have like meetings and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have a staff meeting every Tuesday.
Oh, and is
Yeah,
that better than a school staff meeting,
it's
an in-person one?
it's different. It's different. It's a Zoom online, obviously, meeting with all of us there, and yeah, it's you just get used to it. After a while, it just becomes this is the norm now for me. So
A bit lockdown vibes, really.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. But it's yeah. I mean, for me, it was just like still is like you say, when you start out, you want as many things as possible.
Yeah,
So I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, something might have to give soon in my timetable. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
You don't want to end up with the burnout element because
yeah,
so many teachers, one thing from teaching is you're so used to constantly on the go. So when you do a normal job, you think, oh, I don't feel as exhausted as I used to. Is this what I need to top it up with everything else
yeah,
and add stuff on, which isn't a healthy way to go about things,
no,
really.
no,
So
no.
there you go.
So yeah, I am at that point now where I'm thinking, okay, I might need to start thinking about what agencies and which things do I need and which things can I now, because
Yeah,
as my business takes over things, I can go, right, I can maybe not do that anymore. So
yeah,
it's kind of that balancing act.
that's good.
Because
So,
like the same with supply, when you do supply, you kind
mm,
of filter out supply and take over tuition, don't you? That's
mm,
kind of what some people do, and that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment, I think.
yeah. For
Yeah,
me with supply, I just got to the point where I was like, I'm done.
yeah,
And it was just, I wasn't even like 100% full as a tutor. I was just like, no, I'm done now. I need to
yeah.
go.
I
And
I wasn't doing supply for long, and tutoring just took over.
oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good. Now you also create educational resources. So what sort of things do you make and how did that come about?
yeah. So yeah, that was just through TES.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got a TES shop.
Yeah.
So I think I'd always just like when I thought I'd made a good lesson or something, I'd put it up on TES, now and then. It's just quite a nice little boost, isn't it? When someone downloads your resource and gives you maybe 5 stars or something, it's quite nice. But I never really thought about selling things until I made one lesson and it was for an interview. And one of my colleagues at the time said, "Oh, you should sell that resource."
Oh,
Um,
that's good of them.
and I just thought I'd never really thought of it. So it kind of just got the ball rolling of thinking a bit more, maybe entrepreneurially, you know.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so I put this one resource for sale, and it started doing really well, or quite well. And then from there on, I just kind of did more. And I thought for a while, I thought that was going to be my route out of teaching. I thought I was going to be just fully education resource making,
Yeah.
or just as a side hustle, side project. And I still do it a little bit, but not as much. But yeah, it was just a way of thinking about that multiple income streams way of thinking, I think,
The
isn't it?
buzzword, multiple
Yeah,
income
yeah,
streams.
yeah, yeah. It's that old that old chestnut.
That thing, those words.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. That's really, really good because a lot of tutors do it as another income because again, it's just money coming in. But they do take work and there's that kind of thing where just like, I'll just do a side income thing. And you're like, well, hang on a minute, it'll take me a few days to get this up and ready. And it's not just like a quick thing. And I think sometimes people forget about that. So it's great when it works, but it just takes a bit of effort
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do, really.
definitely. Yeah.
So, what has surprised you the most about tutoring?
I'm just referring to my notes.
That's fine, that one, yeah.
um, Surprising about tutoring, how much work there is out there.
Yes, other tutors have said this to me.
Yeah,
There is like literally work for everybody.
the sheer amount, yeah, the sheer volume of work out there is just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a massive demand for it. Um, how I was surprised at how many platforms there were. You know, for you to
Like
work.
learning platforms.
Yeah, no, like tutor platforms. You know, like Tutorful, Tutor Hub.
Oh, yes, yes.
These were
Loads.
just things I'd never heard of. So, you know, coming into this area, yeah, the amount of different platforms out there, you know, different tuition sites, kind of blew my mind. I was like, right, I can sign myself up for like 6 or 7 different sites, and I'm out there.
Oh,
Um, and then also I found um, how the kids just adapt to it. The kids seem ready for tuition. Like online, they're just, I don't know. It's like they're just straight. It's not a big deal. They get on with it. They're really good at it, and it makes it easy. Do you know what I mean?
say that again for me. Sorry, it just
Sorry. Yeah,
it makes it what? Sorry.
yeah. It just kind of makes tuition easy because kids are just they find it easy. You know, they're ready for it in a way. Like
Yeah, well, they're so
so
used to online, aren't
yeah,
they?
they're so like adept at it that it becomes easy. And then for me, like Zoom is so easy to navigate, and it's all just very, you know, it's the way forward, really.
It's really easy to like once you start going because I've got like a visualizer and I've
Yeah,
started to get like more practical resources. Like you can do very practical lessons
yeah,
online, but it's just kind of opening up to that world and researching it, obviously.
yeah.
Is there anything that shocked you about tutoring that you didn't expect?
I would say this, and I know some of your other guests have said this, but how supportive the community is.
Yes, yeah,
Like honestly, like yeah, that's blown my mind. Um, I kind of think, and you've said it before, and I've seen some of your past interviews where in teaching you kind of feel people are out to get you sometimes,
yes,
and it's a bit like
yeah,
every man for themselves sometimes when it
yes,
really shouldn't be. Um, but I found that yeah, from knowing one person, you know another person, you know another person. You're just constantly making connections in tutoring. So I think that was quite shocking the way people are so open and so just like willing to help other people out. It's been really a nice surprise.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think people want to change after teaching. They don't
yeah,
want that like I know it's a word that's used all the time, toxic environment and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
But it's horrible when you're
great.
in a school where you have that environment and you
Yeah,
can't feel relaxed.
yeah,
And then you come out and you're so wary of others and
yeah,
like
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
you're like,
Wary,
well, what do they
100%.
want? What they're my competition. And the
Yeah,
amount of my friends that have like, if they can't do something or they see someone looking for something that I offer,
yeah,
they'll tag me or vice versa or that kind of thing because it's hard. It's hard running a tutoring business. You need work. And
and it,
so
yeah,
you need like I'd rather help someone out rather than be like, oh no, I'm not gonna
and it's
tag
that
them.
weird little thing of like 6 degrees of separation, isn't it? Like because I know somebody that you're kind of all interlocked in this web.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool because I think I know 2 people that you know. So
Yes, I think from our chats, I
yeah,
think because you know Chrissy, don't you? Who
yeah,
else know Chrissy? So
Chrissy's been amazing.
yeah.
And then through Chrissy, she put me on to Sarah, is a good friend of
Which
yours, I think.
Sarah? Oh, Sarah, yes, she's
Yeah,
if it's the one I think you're talking
Mrs.
about.
Mrs. Lee.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sarah, she's my best bud. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just amazing, isn't it? It's like small
Yeah.
world. And Sarah's been an amazing friend, like helping me out,
Oh,
getting me different people, you know.
she's
So yeah,
really, really good. She was the first tutor to ever reach out to me, and
yeah,
she's just incredible. She's like, she is the best of the best
yeah,
as a
yeah,
friend. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
just amazing. Yeah, people just help you out. You know, if they know that you're, you know, if they like you and they, you know, you've got a good rapport with them, then they'll, you know, they'll open a lot of doors for you. So yeah,
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So we're near the end now. We've got two more questions. So, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a new tutor starting out from scratch?
Yes. I would say, yeah, you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Um, and don't be afraid, like I've done in a way, don't be afraid to chat to other tutors,
Mhm.
and don't feel like you don't feel like you're in this on your own.
Yes.
Get yourself out there. And I think connections are everything
Yeah.
in tutoring.
Yeah.
Like you meet, you know, if you get chatting to one person, like I did with Sue, she introduced me to Chrissy, to Sarah, you know, to yourself, you know, and then you just build up these connections, and then you've got, I don't know, it just gives you that many different options, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
even
Yeah.
if you don't get work from them, they're always there, and they'll keep you in mind if they something comes up, and you know, it's good to have those connections.
I always find it's when you're like, not like having a down day, but you're like, maybe things are a bit slow or something, and then you'll get a text or a message from someone be like, "Oh, I've just recommended you," and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice."
yeah,
It's a nice
definitely.
feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So, because there
yeah,
can be down days when you're running a business, there can be days where things aren't going right.
yeah.
But
I would
yeah,
al- I would also say, like you say, I would also say put yourself in as many places as possible
yeah,
in the way that I have maybe as well. Like give yourself, if you want to get into this properly, commit to it. Put yourself in as many different platforms as you can. So it just gives you that many different places to make money and to earn
yeah,
while you're building things.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Right. So, what do you currently offer, and where can people find you?
I currently offer primary tuition, so primary school tuition
Yeah.
across all subjects, but I specialize mostly in English and maths. But yeah, I'm a primary teacher, so I do teach
Hmm.
across the board. But English and maths is my
Hmm.
speciality personally. Um, but I do really love teaching maths. Weirdly, even though it wasn't my favorite. And then I also do a bit of 11 plus. I'm doing that quite often now.
Right.
Um,
Lovely.
11 plus English comprehension and verbal reasoning.
Oh, lovely. And what's your name on Facebook?
Yeah, sorry, SC Inspire Tuition.
Lovely. And I'll leave your details down below
Yeah,
so that if people want to get in touch with you, they can. So that's great. So thank you very much for joining me. It's been absolutely
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. It's
And
been a pleasure.
lovely. If you liked today's video, make sure, like I said before, to give it a thumbs up and leave a supportive comment, and make sure to subscribe so you can see who else I chat to about their time in education. Thanks for watching.